Cholesterol's not going to lower itself. God damn, that was the best Cheerios I ever had in my life. That wasn't no regular Cheerios, was it? No. That had to be Honey Nut. It had to be Honey Nut. It tastes like Honey Nut, tastes like Cheerio, but nuts dipped in honey.
Really excited today because this is going to be the first reinstallment of a sleeping podcast, basically. But Mother's Day is coming upon us, and I have some thoughts. That I wanted to share with the girls regarding their mothers. It's like, it's early. That's all I'm going to say. But I just wanted to jump in because I didn't want to try to be too, perfectionist with this episode. I got my pajama pants on because I'm trying to channel, Cookie Monster pajama energy. I'm trying to channel my high school energy, even though I wasn't walking around with those. I'm trying to go back to that era. And my high school jersey from my volleyball team. Because we're going back in time. Like, we have to rewind. We have to go back to middle school, high school, in regards to mothers. Upon turning 25, I realized that my greatest fear has come true. That I'm exactly like my mother. I am exactly like my mother. And I never thought that I would have so much peace saying that. I never thought that I would be able to say that and not completely go full-blown inferno. 'Cause girl, the relationship with my mom prior to 2023, 2022, that's when we really started becoming more closer and whatnot. But before that, if only y'all knew the relationship and the journey me and my mom have been through. But I was just thinking about just certain scenarios where I kind of show up in my mom's energy, and I've resisted my mom's tendencies and her tone of voice and different things about my mom for so long because of the period of estrangement we went through, and working on breaking generational curses, working on healing those parts of myself that are so resistant to being close to my mother. It's been a journey. And I've always said my mom is the type of woman where nothing you say can make her feel any kind of way about herself. My mom, and that's something I will say that I got from my mom. When my mind is made up, my mind is made up. My yes means yes, my no means no, and my maybe means leave me the hell alone. That's just how I am. Once my mind is made up, that is done for. Prior to my mind being made up, I'm the most indecisive person on the planet. Do not give me more than 3 options for anything because I will be there all day. Period, point blank. But that's one thing I admire about my mom is that nothing you say can make her feel any kind of way about herself, which I admire. and I've always wished I had the tough skin that my mom has. But I'm also grateful that I didn't have to gain that tough skin the way she did. Because my mama from the streets, okay? My mama's from the streets, and a lot of that hardness and a lot of that that natural resistance came from her upbringing. And I've gone so long with being. I saw this this podcast of this other woman who who I just came across on the internet, and she has a podcast that she was talking about. She said something along the lines of, "Who told you I was a strong black woman? Who said that?" My phone alarm just decided to go off while I was recording. And those are the things that you have to deal with when you want to restart any endeavor. If you want to do anything creative, you're going to have some interruptions and some obstacles. Like, they just don't want to let me be great. But whatever. Y'all like my microphone? Don't pay no mind. This is the budget we working on. Okay? Don't come for me. This is the budget we working on, and this is the resources we have, so we're going to use it. That's another thing too. Like, I have been getting like more in the swing of executing things, even though I don't have all the resources or all of the knowledge that I need to execute those things, because I am so tired of myself. I am so sick and fucking tired of myself. I'm full of shit, and I realized that, you know, I kept saying I wanted to do these things, and then I would get, you know, resentful towards people who were actually acting on these things and who these things were manifesting for them in real life. And I was just like, I don't like that. I don't like the way that makes me feel, because I'm not a jealous person. I love love, and I love sharing love, and I love giving. So that feeling doesn't feel natural to me. It feels icky, and I had to like really like zoom in on that shit and figure out, like, bro, you keep saying you want to do this stuff, but it's like it's and I'm the type of person where I don't like repeating myself, and I don't like hearing other people tell me the same shit over and over again. It's like I heard you the first fucking time, and that's kind of how I had to deal with myself, where it's like, bruh, you keep saying you're going to do this, do that, and third, and you're not doing it. And it just revolves back around to me not trusting myself. Like, consistency, discipline, routine, all of that shit, all these, like, you know, hot topic words, and all of these, like, you know, how do you say, like, optimized search engine words, these keywords, all it revolves back around to is trusting yourself. Like, if you call your friend and be like, hey, you trying to go to the movies at 3 p.m. on Saturday. 3 p.m. Saturday, cool. Lock it in your calendar. 2:30 comes around on Saturday, you're nowhere to be found. And you don't call, you're a no-show. You're a no-call, no-show. So I'm not going to invite you out again because you just stood me up. Like, you told me you was going to be here at 3, and you didn't even text me or call me at 2:30 to let me know you were going to be late, let alone you weren't coming at all. So it's kind of the same thing where I would set up these movie dates with myself and be like, yeah, I'm going to pick you up at 2:30, and we're going to be there, and we're going to do this, that, and the third, and 2:30 come around, and I leave you hanging. I literally leave myself hanging. Like, I stood myself up. And I was doing that with so many versions and so many eras and so many, what's the word I'm looking for? Sections of my life. But I have been getting better with it. And me and my therapist and my counselor, like, I have a good support system now that I really rely on. And I want to be clear that support system doesn't always mean family and friends. Like, support system doesn't always mean the people that you grew up with. Support system could be people that you pretty much onboarded to your team within the past couple of months to help you get your shit right. So my therapist and my counselors are a part of that team. And we are all on the same goal. We all have the same vision for what my dream looks like and what my life looks like. So I'm a person where I really have to simplify it. Like, I get overwhelmed. Like I said, you can't give me too many options. You can't give me more than 3 because I'll get so overwhelmed and I will never make a decision. I'll be paralyzed by analysis. And when it came to like self-improvement and it came to like bettering myself, it's like you have a clusterfuck in front of you and you're trying to figure out, okay, where do I start? Like, there's like, I'm poor, I'm black, and I'm ugly. No. Like, no, for real, like, I'm poor, you know, I'm a black woman, I'm a queer black woman, you know, I come from a single parent household, you know, your mind starts lining up all of these cons and all of these things that should be, you know, setting you back, which they do. But at the same time, like I said, part of that equation and why I wasn't getting some momentum and getting some movement was because I wasn't acting on things that I was promising to myself. I wasn't being a good friend to myself. And I probably wasn't being a good friend to other people. I said it. I'm sorry. If you were friends with me within pretty much since high school, I'm sorry. Okay? I really am. I apologize. I was the friend that was always going through some shit. Okay? And nobody wants to be around a friend that's always going through some shit. You really got to spend time with yourself. There's a difference between like alienation, hyper isolation, and spending time with yourself. A lot of the time we just think that, oh, I'm going to go into monk mode and I'm going to go into hibernation mode and I'm going to go into this solitude artist mode when really you're just isolating and alienating yourself. Sorry, that's my dog. You're just isolating and alienating yourself. You're not actually learning from the Ma'am, are you done? Sorry, my dog is making a lot of noise. When you spend time with yourself, you're actually observing your tendencies. You're observing your habits. You're observing the negative thing or the things that have a negative effect on you and closing the gap between you and that dream version of yourself. Like, you're not paying attention to what's really there. You're kind of pretty much, it's kind of just, it's like a self-pity, because struggle feels good. Like, let's be honest, struggle feels good. Adversity feels good. Not in a sense of like pleasure, but in the sense of like it makes you feel something. Like, you've heard people say, I'd rather feel pain than feel nothing at all. Because feeling nothing is just, it's just not human. It's not a natural human existence. So when you are spending time with yourself, it's completely different from, you know, isolating, alienating yourself and being, you know, an introvert. Like, you can be an introvert and still be a person who can exist around other people. You just have to know when your capacity is starting to reach that point. And you learn that by observing yourself. You learn that by learning yourself. You learn that by spending time with yourself. You learn that by learning how to trust yourself. And trusting yourself is showing up for the promises that you made to yourself. Simple as that. If you say, I'm going to wake up, and it don't even have to be like nothing like far-fetched, because a lot of time when people talk about these goals and these habit changes and whatnot, they go so far, you know, far forward. When you're thinking about this version of yourself and you think about the person that you are now, and you're like, the gap is so wide, I don't even want to look at it, it's because that gap requires you to be able to observe yourself, learn what your bad habits are, learn what your good habits are, learn what your triggers are, learn what you like, learn what you don't like. You learn all of that by spending time with yourself. And spending time with yourself doesn't always happen in solitude. Sometimes it also happens in experience with other people. So when people say like, oh, you need to cut everybody off and go into monk mode, I agree to a certain extent, because if you're not being intentional with this solitude and actually using this solitude to pay attention to yourself, you're just being in solitude with pretty much drowning yourself with all your negative thoughts. It's not helping. It's not productive. It's like venting. It's like, are you venting to just get it out and be heard, or are you venting because you want a response, you want a solution? Because I've had so much more peace with how I deal with interactions with people, and I've realized that by spending time with myself, because I know my tolerance is low, and I know I feel a lot. And I'm still working on my boundaries with feeling, when I'm engaging with people, and how much of that person I allow myself to feel. Because sometimes I'll just go. I'll just go. Like, my wig. No, but I just go full throttle, head first. I don't really think about how that person's energy is going to affect me later on. But I've learned that, and also through my previous relationship, my past partner definitely taught me, I will always say he was the ranch to my buffalo wing. I'm coming in guns blazing, like, what we doing, and he's more, logical, let's think about this, let's whatever. And that relationship has really taught me how to handle situations that involve such high emotion, because I'm a high emotion person. I have to approach things with do you want to be heard, or do you want a solution? Because I realize now, like, especially working in customer service, this is a love letter to the people who work in retail, the people who work in fast food, the people who work in call centers. I love you. We're here with it. We are here. And honestly, just how the military, like, and I believe I don't know what, like, some countries, like, it's a requirement to join the army. All right. It should be a requirement for every citizen to work in fast food. It should be a requirement for every citizen to experience what it feels like to work in customer service. Because I promise you, our society, like, it would do so much better if people could see the worst parts of humanity and experience the worst parts of humanity. I was at work and I went into the bathroom, and we don't even have like a customer bathroom. Like, this bathroom isn't for like customers to use, really. But if there's like a senior citizen or like a kid, someone with a baby or whatever, like, we'll make exceptions. But normally, like in retail stores, you really aren't supposed to let people use the bathroom because of the merchandise that we have. The bathroom at my job that people were using, because the bathroom that we use, the employees, has a lock. You have to have the key to it. We don't let customers use that bathroom. There's another bathroom next to it that doesn't lock. But that bathroom pretty much doesn't get attended to because there's no toilet paper in there. There's no paper towel. Like, it's pretty much not a bathroom unless you're a dude who doesn't wash his hands. So, pretty much nothing but junkies and druggies was using that bathroom, and people who didn't give a fuck that it smelled like a literal corpse. And one day I went in there and there was literal shit on. It was like, I'm gonna just put a picture because I don't even want to try to describe what I experienced. But every human being should be required to experience that, because that was just uncalled for. That was just unacceptable. And I won't be the same after that. I don't think I'll ever like heal from the nightmares I have from seeing literal sprayed shit and smelling that. So yeah, I'm in therapy. I'm doing cognitive behavioral therapy because I'm traumatized, you know. Everyone should have to work in some point in their lives. It should be a requirement because when you work with people who are so irrational with their emotion, and you are in a situation where someone is cussing you out because something was put in the wrong spot, and they assume that the price that it was in the wrong spot of was the price that it would ring up for, and it did not. So now you are sitting at self-checkout with someone because they want something that was $8 for $6. What do? Well, before I get up in arms and I start acting a fool and I start acting my color, you gotta really like figure out, like, does this person want a solution or do they want to just be heard? Because for me, that's what I've realized in my relationship. A lot of the times, like with our arguments, and when you try to argue with someone who is so logical and who is just so solution oriented, you feel and look so silly. And that's what my relationship had taught me, because it would be times where he's just like, okay, do you want a solution or do you want to be heard? Because sometimes, and it would be sometimes where I would just be venting and I'd be ranting, or we'd be talking, we'd be in conflict about something, and he would suggest something or he would say something that I wasn't looking for. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it'd be a situation that wasn't even like in regards to our relationship. And I would just want him to listen, you know what I mean? But he would give me advice, but it would be man advice, if you know what I mean? Like it would be so logical and so like on the nose. It's just like, why you gotta do that? Why you gotta call me out? Why do you have to make me be responsible and accountable for my own actions and emotions? Why do you have to do that? Why are we doing that? That's not what we're doing here. That wasn't the vibe. And that definitely taught me how to handle other situations where other people are being emotionally irrational with me, because I'm a feeler, and like I said, for me to have boundaries so I don't get so involved and I don't literally drain and kill myself by trying to engage with someone who's so emotionally who's so reactionary and emotionally irrational, it's pointless for me to try to fight that battle, because you're trying to fight logic with a situation that just requires ears. Like sometimes people just want to be heard, and the way they go about trying to yell, I want you to hear me, causes you to go up in arms. You know what I mean? And I've realized that's cost me so many jobs. It's cost me like money, because it's the principle for me. I don't give a fuck about this job. I will clock out and I will cuss you out. And you won't even realize I'm cussing you out because I didn't use a cuss word. Yeah, it's that type time. You know what I mean? Like, but I've also learned, like, bro, I'm not gonna let nobody stop my bag. I'm not gonna let nobody stop my money, because I know what I'm trying to do. And although I don't agree with all the things that this system requires, I know that there is no way for me to exist in this world without interacting with said system, period, point blank. Like, if you want to be safe, secure, and have your right state of mind, you're gonna need a roof over your head. You're gonna need resources to feed yourself. You're gonna need resources to clean yourself. You know what I mean? All that comes back to this common currency called money. But it is what it is, you know. I'm a person who doesn't like being told, you know, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Oh, sorry. Like, I don't like being told that's just how it is, or, you know, that's just the way it is. I'm not that kind of person, because I'm gonna find a way. Because you're not gonna tell me that this is not the way it is. It's just not. We created these systems, so we have the ability to maneuver around them and change them as needed as we evolve. At least I believe. And sometimes we don't see that evolution happen in our lifetime, but you're not going to tell me that's just the way it is and just to accept it and roll over. I'm not that kind of person. But I have realized with emotional maturity, in order for me to navigate and get the resources that I want and help the people that I want and free the people, free my niggas, I'm gonna have to have money. I need money. Like, I'm gonna have to have money. And until we can be on some, 100% sovereign shit, we're gonna have to exist within these systems, and that means working customer service. That means working with these bitch ass Karens, Toms, Sarahs, and everything else in between. It means having to tell, the difference in a situation when someone wants to be heard and someone wants an actual solution. Because you got bills to pay, you got money to make, and you got dreams to chase. We don't have time to be arguing with Sally, Dick, and Tom in aisle 4 about some fucking Oreos. Like, we don't have time for it. I'm sorry. So if the bitch want the Oreos for $2 and they ringing up for $8, give it to her for $2 fucking dollars. And if it's gonna cause you to get in trouble, call over a supervisor. It's out of my hands now. It's above me. It's above me now. It's above me. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta say it's above me. No, but with this Mother's Day coming up and everything, it just had me thinking, because my mom is so like in your face. My mom is very like, when she's not a loudmouth, but she's very like, has a pushy personality. And I was just thinking of this scenario where, like, my neighbors are out cooking. Most of my neighbors don't speak English. But, I was thinking of this scenario where my neighbors were out cooking on the grill. And, me just with my garden and all of my produce and stuff growing, just going over there. Telling them, not asking, telling them, hey, put this on the grill, like veggie skewers on the grill, and just being in communion with these people. And that's how my mom is. Like, it's been so many times where we would go to the nail shop, or she's going to get her nails done, she's going to get her feet done, or she's going to get her hair done, and we're going to the Afro shop, whatever. My mom has made friends with so many different people from different, like, walks of life, simply because she's so, like, in your face and invasive with, let's commune. You know what I mean? And it was always off-putting to me as a kid, because I'm like, why are you embarrassing me? Like, why are you trying to force a play date with some lady you met in aisle 3 in Walmart? Like, because I was the only child up until I was like 10. So she was always pretty much like Tinder dating me for play dates in the fucking Walmart. So because I never had nobody to play with. Like, I've always been this kind of girl where I was just always, found myself in solitude. But yeah, like, I just realized that, there's some traits about my mom that now, with the energy of the new generation or whatever, I'm Gen Z, I go about these things differently, and I realize, like, I am as potent and as, like, like, in your face as my mom. Because I have very much big auntie energy. I give off big auntie energy, if you haven't noticed, or you will come to learn. And it's had me, like, looking back on my teenage years with a different scope and a different lens, because I had so much teenage angst, and now my brother is a teenager now. And it's interesting, like, being right in the center where I'm merging newly into adulthood, and I'm freshly out of, like, teenagehood. But I'm able to communicate with both sides of these generations, with my brother being from the TikTok era and my mom being from, like, not baby boomer. What's after millennial? I don't know. Whatever's after that. She listened to Kim and Maxwell and Sade. Whatever era that is. I don't know. So yeah, like, I've realized, I'm being more accepting of certain traits and certain things. I'm going, for so many years of working on generational trauma and working on myself. I had so much negative energy towards my upbringing and towards, the habits and the structure of the black home and the black nuclear family and whatnot. And being, and just the angst and the animosity of growing up as a black woman or black child raised by a single black woman and knowing what that means as you get older and as you mature and as you, learn more things. I had a lot of animosity for my upbringing and a lot of angst, but I'm coming around to healing that inner teenager, and that's really what this season has been feeling like. Just healing and listening and observing that teenage angst, that inner teenage angst. And I've just been really enjoying my 20s right now. When I turned 25 on my birthday, I was really like in a mental whirlwind because I couldn't believe that my recording just stopped, and I don't know when that happened. Like my audio recording stopped recording, and I don't know if it's because I hit a time limit or if because like the alarm clock went off. But I'm gonna have to change that moving forward. See, this is the thing. You have to when it comes to like executing on ideas, and I put this in my most recent video, why do we hate our 20s? Because I was one of those people who would information hoard and watch all the videos and research and read and do all of that. Like I'm that kind of person. When I am interested in something, I will obsessively research it over until like I lose my mind. For example, I recently got into aquascaping, and I have a fish. He's right here. You can't see him because the grow light hasn't turned on yet because we got about a couple more minutes, like 2 more minutes before it comes on. His name is Lando. I'm going to have a video coming out soon introducing you to Lando Denim Andromedon. And I have 2 snails as well. They are at the front. Tina and Louise. One is really fat and he always ends up on his back. I don't know why he does that. The other one is very active. That one is Louise. But yeah, anyway. I got into aquascaping. I got into aquariums. I got into fish. And I was obsessive over it. I went to an aquarium store and I was like talking to the girl there for hours. And yeah, so when I am interested in something, I will research it until my fingers are numb to the bone. But the problem with that is we will spend so much time sharpening our sword in our dungeon that we never go out to war. And watching all of these videos about self-improvement and how to build a routine and how to be consistent and how to be disciplined and how to wake up at 5 a.m. and how to be on time and how to create a schedule and how to, all these things of how to do this, how to do that. We watch all these videos, and the problem is that we're not we're not executing on any of the information that we've already hoarded. Like we're just like piling it on. And I think I've become more comfortable with acting on the information that I have, knowing it won't be perfect, knowing that I have room to grow, knowing I have room to maneuver. This is literally proof of what I'm talking about. I won't know that I have to turn off my morning alarms during recording until I literally sat down to record. So some of these things that, we Google, like, that will create a problem is like, how do I stop? Or how do I get more people to click on my video? Or how do I create a more engaging thumbnail before we even figure out who the fuck the thumbnail is for? Before you even figure out who your audience is, you worried about some fucking thumbnail that it matters, but it doesn't matter as much as you think it does at the stage you're in. And I've gotten more comfortable with acting on the information I already know. And even if it feels like low-hanging fruit, like I've known this information for a while and I've learned so much more since then, I still give myself grace and movement to expand on that. Because when I look at some of my videos from 3 years ago, and I'm listening to how I talk and some of the things I'm saying, I don't fully agree with everything that I said. I may still have some of the same sentiments, maybe some of the same principles, and the general belief still stands, but the way in which I expressed it is different. And that comes with emotional maturity, that comes with experience, that comes with spending time with yourself, observing yourself, not just isolating and being drowned by depression. Been there, done that. Wouldn't recommend. It's about really observing yourself in your natural state. It's about figuring out how you respond when someone is 3 inches a little too close to you. It's learning how you respond when you get bubble guts every time you go to this particular person's house. And you learn 2 years later, oh, that was intuition. That's just the way my body sends messages to me of intuition. You may, get a leg itch. Like you have to learn these, tics and these or triggers. You have to learn these things about yourself by spending time with yourself and paying attention. And a lot of these painful experiences we go through, wisdom comes from the data collection of these painful experiences. That's what wisdom is. Wisdom is experiencing something uncomfortable, seeing how you responded and reacted in that situation, knowing how you could have done it differently to get a different result, a more desired result, and applying that to the next time something even remotely close or similar pops up. That's wisdom. It's applying it. So the reason you haven't started your YouTube channel and the reason you have been sitting on months of content like me is because, one, you don't trust yourself. You're not confident in what you know because you haven't acted on what you know. You haven't been in the field moving and maneuvering and experiencing how the world responds to what you are putting out and what you have to say to the world. So it's not going to be fucking perfect. I came on this bitch with my pajamas, my high school jersey, and a phone that keeps trying to cut me off and won't let me be great. Okay? When you look around yourself, you have to be like, okay, what it is, when you look at that dream version of yourself and you're like, okay, the version of myself that I want to be and the version of myself that I am right now, and you get that uncomfortable feeling when you see the gap between those two is so fucking big, you start looking around and you say, okay, well, what is going to start closing that gap? I want to go to the gym. I want to do this. I want to do that. Okay, well, what is going to start you doing those things? You got to really break that shit down, bro. I'm the type of person where I can't do the whole, I can't do too much. You got to break it down for me. I got to take it meal by meal. I'm not a meal prepper. I don't like leftovers. I've learned that, with working at the gym and being around people who weight lift and being in that environment. I've learned for me personally, I don't like leftovers. I don't like food that's more than 3 days old. So meal prepping is not really something that's going to be feasible or have a positive payoff for me personally. But I do know I'm a snacker. I'm a more frequent eater. When it comes to my body and what my body wants and what my body can handle, I'm a more frequent eater. So that has happened 3 times. That is the 3rd time that's happened. Anyway. Good morning, Lando. And the snails are sleeping still. Anyway, but yeah, observing yourself, spending time with yourself, it may reveal that you are, more like your mother than you care to admit. It may reveal that meal prepping is not for you. You're more of a eat multiple times throughout the day kind of girl. you know, or maybe a one meal a day girl. As long as you get your fucking calories, that's all that matters. I'm not really into this is the best method. No, like when I see stuff like that, I know that was the best method for you and the people who have the same body chemistry and the same lifestyle, routine, resource, privilege as you, okay? Not for me. And you find that out. And sometimes people, and that's why, people's morning routines and night routines and all this shit looks so different, because this shit is customizable, bro. This life shit is customizable. Do you play Sims? Do you play Minecraft? This shit is customizable. So, and it's customizable in places that you wouldn't have even thought is customizable in, you know what I mean? So get creative and really think about what systems can I start paying attention to and observing myself in, so that I can start making some lasting changes, because anything that's going to be immediate is not going to last. Anything that's going to be quick is not going to last. It's about observing what you do every day in the long term over a period of time, not what you do one day out of the week. No, when you wake up every day, usually what is the first thing what does your body move? How does your body move? Do you take a shit the first thing in the morning? Or is that something that usually happens after you eat breakfast? Or after you work out? Or after you do yoga and you get your blood flowing? Or is it something that's just right out the gate? As soon as you open your eyes, you got to go. Like, you have to observe these little things and understand how your body, how your mind, and how your life works, and what the things around you, how they respond to you. Because then you can start playing chess. And that's how you get out the hood. That's how we going to make it out the hood. We start playing chess. We start moving pieces around. We start realizing how the world is responding to us realizing our habits and our tendencies, and playing off that, using that to our advantage, not manipulating anything or anyone, but you using that to your advantage to get where you need to go. And I've been more open to that. So, y'all, that's it. Yeah, let me get up out of here. This was a chaotic episode. It was definitely like I won't say a rush job, but I definitely wanted to, like I said, execute and stop thinking about it, because I'm a daydreamer, and I had so many ideas, and I really wanted to, and I prayed to God to really move through me and use me, and speak through me to create, because I don't want to create anything that's not through God. I don't want to create something that I'm not gonna be proud of. So I just wanted to follow through with what I was feeling, and this is me doing that. It's not perfect. I didn't get all glitz and glammed up. I didn't retwist my hair. I threw a hat up on this bitch. I put I'm just trying to put my ideas out there, put it out there, act on it, because if you don't, somebody will. No thought and no idea is original. Like, somebody has had the same idea and thought as you. The only difference is they acted on it. Even if they did or didn't have the resources to do it, and the shit wasn't perfect, you acted on it. And that's what mattered. It's acting on it in small percentages every day that equals up to that 100%. I'm not into the fad diets or the instant gratification or the quick fixes, because I know that shit's not going to last. I want money that's going to last. I want a body that's going to last. I want friends that are going to last. I want a community that's going to last. I want a mindset that's going to last. I want a confidence that's going to last. I want a self-assurance that's going to last. I want security that's going to last. So, no shade to anybody and how they make their money, but I want some shit that's going to last. So, I'm going to do the little by little every day and make sure I'm showing up every day, even if all I have is 1% left in my body to show up with that day. I showed up. If all I did was show up, like if all I did was come in the classroom, sit down with my book bag, and I ain't do no work, I showed up, bro. You showed up. So that's the end of today's episode. I really wanted to just kind of keep it simple with one topic, but I do want to throw in some other stuff. And we'll see what next week's video or episode is going to look like. But yeah, this is just me acting on it. So yeah, have a great day.